Unlock your potential with a comprehensive suite of investing tools and expert education with GammaEdge. Start your free 14-day trial today. Option trades are different than stock trades. The counterparty, the person sitting on the other side of the table in an option trade, is required by law to be a registered broker dealer or someone of that, that registration. So I am not sitting across the table from you buying your option from you. I could be sitting next to you, but there's a dealer sitting across the table from both of us. And your transaction goes to the dealer and it comes back to me when I buy it. So if you're selling, the dealer can turn right around and sell it to me, but it must go through the dealer. So what if I'm not sitting at the table and you want to sell? Who's obligated? The dealer. The dealer is the market maker, or I'm really generalizing here, but take this just at the 50,000 foot view. The dealer, market maker, broker, let's just group them into one big mass. They are the counterparty to every stock or every option transaction. So what that means is during the day, if there is shifting of OI, if there is shifting of these deltas, it's due, one, to market action, meaning there is a buyer and a seller. The dealer may be that counterparty. He may be just the third party transacting it and collecting his spreads, which is how they make their money, by the way. Or it could be a whole party of people, or it could be a big institution periodically buying or selling big chunks, but they're doing it through the dealer to you. And to the market. And that's what moves price up and down. And when we see these major adjustments, like what Michael was talking about, so for instance, when we see, let's just go over and see if we can see a couple of these. When you see these big steady lines up, the green bars just stacking on top of each other, or the red bar, just moving price a tremendous amount, literally in a very, very short interval, we believe these are dealer adjustments. They don't care about price. They care about deltas, because delta is their exposure. And so when we start seeing this type of behavior, this is the unload behavior, and then this is the recover behavior, and people, it's corroborated very cleanly here that some buying was going on, and that's why you start seeing the adjustments. So some calls were being opened or puts were being closed. By who? Market participants. Who's on the other side of the transaction? Well, as it started happening, then the dealer became exposed, because now the book's flipping and they got to make their adjustments. So if I'm closing a put, my book on my side of the table, when I close a put, my deltas are getting longer in my book, because I'm going from a more negative level to a more positive level. I'm getting positive. The dealer's the counterparty. They're on the other side of this transaction. So if my book is getting bigger or getting longer, less negative, they're getting shorter, because if I'm closing a put, they effectively were short that put, and now they're not. And so now, with not being short, a short put is like a long call. So now they are getting shorter in their book. And as a result of that, they have to start buying. And that's what we see here. So always remember, the takeaway here for your question is that when we see OI shifting around, it's due largely to market dynamics, but it's also amplified across the various strikes. And the dealer adjustments are the dealer adjustments as they adjust the risk. They're not constantly adjusting the risk. The transaction cost would kill them. So they think of a pyramid, and effectively the pyramid is the aggregation of, little blocks at the base of the pyramid are little symbols, and, junior snot dripping analysts who come out of college and they're given a small book to manage. And then you take the aggregation of that first tier. Somebody is managing that set of books of symbols, and it just aggregates up higher and higher as you go in the pyramid. Finally, the pyramid representing the Citadel, the JPM, the big institutions, and what their risk is. And now that risk has got to get mitigated periodically, and that's what we're seeing in these big adjustments, or what we believe we're seeing in these big adjustments. So when the risk desk basically is telling them to start adjusting or triggering, it's all automated, by the way, but there's a reason, right, that the deltas and the adjustment of the deltas as they make the markets have to be compensated for within the bowling lane of their risk adjustments. That's the easiest way I can describe it, or at least I think the easiest way I can describe it.
Thank you very much. I think I'm finally wrapping my head around that counterparty scenario. So I'll definitely research more into that, and I appreciate your time answering the question.
Yeah, sure. No, it's a great question, and I think it's probably it's one of the I hear all the time, or we hear here at GammaEdge, who's on the other side of the trade? I'm on the other side of the trade. Well, no, you're not. It's a dealer. It's a market maker. And they have a responsibility to the exchanges to provide liquidity into the market, to be the counterparty. So even if you and I are not sitting on the same side of the table, they are contractually obligated to the exchange to provide a certain volume of transactions per time, generally months. They get their license to do this, and then they make the market in those symbols. So the counterparty to every option transaction you do is going to be in the realm of that broker-dealer market maker. That when you get your head around that part, the rest of it, just the domino pieces just fall right into place. Now you know the dealer is compelled to manage risk, and as we transact, then you see stuff. And that's why the OI, open interest, at certain strikes, multiplied by the gamma at that strikes, the delta at those strikes, the charm at those strikes, the vanna at those strikes, all influence the magnitude, the amplification that the dealer is exposed to as we cross those prices.